And of course I left my wallet in one, and thankfully, you know, I was able to reach out through the app, and I did reach out to some of the people that I know on the autopilot team. So what do you do when you lose your wallet in a Robotaxi? Well, I'm about to go find out. I will show you the email, but I've hailed a Robotaxi. We're gonna go pick up one of the locations in the Bay Area, San Francisco and Palo Alto. And we are here in the Robotaxi. We're gonna start this ride. But yes, I was not trying to do this for testing purposes. Did a ride yesterday for 2 hours. And of course I left my wallet in one, and thankfully, you know, I was able to reach out through the app, and I did reach out to some of the people that I know on the autopilot team, because I was freaking out, had no idea where this was. And so, you know, I was able to pick between two locations. The Tesla showroom in Palo Alto, and then I don't know the San Francisco location because I didn't ask. I just wanted the Palo Alto one. I'm here. We have about a 29-minute drive, so we'll arrive about 1 o'clock. And we're gonna go pick up my wallet. So at least now you will be informed what you should do if you lose your stuff in the Tesla Robotaxi. So obviously I started the ride. I'm gonna pull out just real quick so you can see on the app where you can go. So I'm gonna go to ride history here. So yesterday when I was doing my 2-hour Robotaxi drive, there is a spot here. You can click start/lost item report, and you can fill out all this information. And they got back to me with like pretty quickly, and then they provided me with a couple of locations. So again, what did you lose? I lost my wallet. I'm not gonna click on this, obviously, and submit it. I lost it in the rear seats. And then you can describe what the situation was and specifically the item. So super thankful that I was able to do it. And I figured it only made sense to hail a ride to go pick it up. But, you know, again, just trying to also help get as many of these Robotaxi rides as possible so that, you know, there's more data in the system, and so that hopefully at some point we can get these safety drivers either into the passenger side like Austin or completely removed. And we know for the Robotaxi, that's like 400 square miles here in the Bay Area. I mean, it makes Austin, the geofence, look extremely small, because Austin is only the city of Austin, whereas this geofence is actually almost 400 square miles across like 15 to 20 cities. I mean, you're talking from South San Jose all the way up to Berkeley on the East Bay to Sausalito. And so I've been able to do a drive all the way literally up to the top of the geofence. You know, just thought that this was like, so we actually have cars jumping out here, and it should get in the left lane here, but handled that well. And again, you just see this safety driver who's just kind of, again, monitoring it as it's driving itself. And in this case, this literally picked me up right in front of where I live. You know, didn't have to walk far at all. And that could change depending on where you're hailing the ride from. But yeah, we'll see how this drive goes. And again, most of it is going to be on the highway, but we'll be able to see how it does in Palo Alto as it brings me to the Tesla showroom. And I'm going to show you the email. So at least, again, I don't know if this is going to be the final process, but all they said is you can retrieve your item at the Tesla showroom during the normal business hours. Just present this email as confirmation. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I don't know if I'll be able to film the whole thing. Obviously in the showroom, they may have some restrictions there, but long story short, the process has been pretty seamless, and it's important to know that if you do lose something, that can you find it? You know, is it easy to get access to all of that stuff? And so, you know, they definitely have already thought about these processes as they've set up this ride hailing experience here in the Bay Area. Again, I would assume it follows a little bit. This is probably exactly the same situation in Austin. What they have access to in Austin is kind of more of the full meal, is what you want to say, because again, the safety driver is in the right seat and you can really just watch the whole thing drive. But from my perspective, this is what I experience on a daily basis. Is I'll drive to work, the car literally just drives me all the way. But this is different because, you know, this is obviously able to handle and pick you up, you know, from wherever you are, and meet you where you need to be, and then obviously take you to your next destination. Versus in the Cybertruck, which I have right now, it can only really just drive you. It cannot do the park to park like it can in the 3 and the Y and the S and the X. Shout out to the safety driver I had yesterday. It was like 2 hours. I think he was exhausted by the end of it because I had to change the location multiple times, so I didn't get stuck in Sausalito. That's the other thing up there, is it's going to be a little bit harder to hail rides maybe at the top of the geofence. And some of the feedback that actually I did give to the autopilot team was, you know, to put up a notification if there's not as many riders in a location so that you don't get stuck. I had to hail a manual driver in Sausalito after it was, and again, it was pretty late because I think they shut off around what, like 1 to 6, 12 to 6. It kind of just depends on, you know, what time it is. But it's important to know if you're going to a location and there's not going to be many rides available, it's important for you to be aware of that. And you can kind of see here, you know, hands are not on the steering wheel. It's just monitoring it as it, you know, rotates to the left and to the right. And the one thing is too, is that all of the drivers, they do work at Tesla, you know, and I believe there's around 50 cars right now. So they're going to scale up, as Elon has posted, to hopefully 100 in a couple of weeks. So really exciting here, but the geofence is absolutely insane. And I think one of the things right now is, and I wouldn't expect this, you know, for them to be able to hail a ride in 5 minutes. I had the time, you plan it out, but with only 50 cars in the bay, you're going to wait a little bit. So it's really more about the experience and really about, you know, putting information and data into the system so that they can do this. And again, what continues to make this special is that this is a car that's already being produced, that's rolling off the line here in Fremont and even in Texas. This is not a concept vehicle with a bunch of lidar on it with like 30 to 50 sensors or however many. I'm kind of exaggerating, but you know, this is something that is happening real time. And what makes this, you know, super exciting is the fact that this is something that is being produced today. And we had the first delivery happen for an owner in Austin, I believe at the end of June. And, you know, the car rolled off the factory production line and literally went straight to the new owner. That was super cool. Personally had major FOMO being here in the Bay Area and seeing all of this stuff happen in Austin. And so super excited that they rolled this out. And, you know, I did experience, I was part of the, I think there was like 20 people that got the invite for the initial launch. Shout out to Hans, I was able to join him as his +1 to experience those first rides. I did a total of 7 in Austin. So this is my 5th ride. I was gone out of town for the initial launch 2 weeks back. And again, here it's like, this is in standard mode. So obviously if you have autopilot or really full self-driving supervised, there's different modes. I think it's like chill, standard, and hurry. This is in standard mode. Yeah, I was just glad I was able to hail this ride. Excited to be able to kind of experience this new technology here in the Bay Area and ride sharing experience, but also too to experience what it's like to lose a wallet. So in case you lose something, you'll know what to do if you ever come here to the Bay Area or Austin, what you need to do and how that process is and what that's like. And you know, it's crazy how much how far they've come in 4.5 years. As you may know, I was the first public beta tester for, I guess, geez, it's almost been 5 years, 2020 of October. And Raj and I got access in my 2018 Model X to literally just test it out. So the V13, ever since the V13 for supervised has come out, FSD supervised, it's been a game changer. So it's been, you know, the rides are pretty much perfect. Still some kinks in here, but the fact that Tesla now has a software build that they use for these robotaxis that can autonomously drive it is really just a showcase of where they're headed. And the fact that maybe at one point, again, you know, all this stuff is going to take way longer than we expected, in that just being able to get it as a private citizen, that's all going to come down to like regulations and stuff like that. But the important thing is that they're building a car that can do this today, that there's software that makes this possible. You know, it just shows like this is what we've been all waiting for. I know ever since I experienced my first Tesla in 2018, I've been waiting for this moment. This is like Amazon being a bookstore to Tesla being a car company. We know it's the furthest thing from that now. in Austin, at least when they were doing the first rides, you would have to show the app as kind of like a confirmation. But now it's just more of like they just ask you your name. It's kind of more of what happens when you get into an Uber and Lyft. They just kind of confirm the name and you kind of just go from there. The Robotaxis that were in Austin were all Model Y launch series, and they had manufacturing license plates. These, they have, I think in California, they have, I didn't check the back of this, but the past couple that I've ridden in, they have the TCP. It's like I think it's like a California restriction of like taxi fleets that they need to have. And obviously, as we know, the people that are giving these rides are Tesla employees right now. So I believe they probably had to set up something like that for these. It's not just, but they don't have manufacturing license plates on them. And I do see as they scale, the wait times are gonna go way down. So it's not gonna be, I know some of you have kind of like commented on that, but it's really just a non-factor when you think of the scaling efforts of all of this. And again, I know you probably have seen a lot of these videos, but just what does the screen look like? You can pull over, you click on that, you can press confirm, it's gonna find a safe place. So probably on the highway, it's probably gonna take like the latest exit, you can press confirm on that. And then at some point, you get an agent that kind of reaches out. We've done a couple of those on our other rides, and then you can actually call support. But you can also too, if you like listening to music, Spotify and Apple Music, which I have, and then when you do pull over, you can resume your ride once the situation is cleared and you're safe. And then also too, we tested opening the door and what that looks like at a stop sign. It like stops the ride, and then you can easily click just to resume it. 1.2 though, I think, because again, this is integrated with the Tesla app as far as like all of my information came from the Tesla app. So as they open this up, it might be a little bit different. But what would be great is to have like Apple Music and Spotify just automatically integrated into all of that, so I can just kind of get in. But YouTube's here, always have to pull up the video. You can see all of our videos. We've been posting all the videos from the interviews that we've done with Lars, Elon, Steve Jurvetson, he was a board member of Tesla, and then all of our live streams that we did the past couple days. So pretty cool here. It's kind of crazy. It just feels like this ride's just kind of flying by, but maybe it's because I'm like long-winded right now. And what's going to make ride sharing with an autonomous vehicle fun, right? And or not fun, but better than your typical Uber and Lyft. So yesterday or 2 days ago, I was changing the location multiple times with a Lyft driver, and they started to kind of like get pissed off. And so, with an autonomous vehicle, you're not going to have to deal with that. You're not going to have to interact. You can kind of get in and almost take a nap and just go and not have to deal with any of that human interaction. I know I'd feel safer if my wife got into a Robotaxi with no one in it versus, a male. That's partially a personal preference, but I know from a lot of my female colleagues that that's the preference as well. Hopefully, I don't know what the ramp is going to look like for the Bay Area, but seeing a driver in the passenger side is a lot cooler. So those people in Austin are getting the full mill while we get kind of a glimpse of that. But here, it's still cool just to even have this in the Bay Area. But I think another interesting thing about Tesla is the fact that, when you think of an operation standpoint, like the fact that like I lost my wallet and they have locations based on sales and service centers that they can drop it off at and that you can go pick it up at, and you can have that human interaction when you get there. And then they also do have, you can see at the front, they have the pull over, stop and lane. I have not seen how that works. I mean, I think it just stops like if I open the door, and then support. And then I love the visualization there. It's almost like a bird's eye view. Actually, never realized this in the Y. You can actually see this kind of gray velvet interior. Looks really nice, and you see it actually in the front dash too. One thing that'll be interesting too is hopefully at some point they can do multiple stops, where you can set one location, pick another location, and do multiple stops, kind of like a waypoint thing. Because in this situation, it'd be perfect if I could actually just hail the ride, go and just leave the car here and then hail it back, all on the same ride versus having to do it. Assume that's coming. It's just gonna be a matter of time. All right, so here, it's not pulling into the Tesla's showroom. So I'll have to probably walk around the fence, which again, is not a big deal. But hopefully over time, it'll pull me directly into the actual showroom. So Tesla's over there. Pull that out. Again, got to make sure I have all my belongings. Can't make a video about losing your wallet and leaving my stuff. Thank you for the ride. All right, well, that is the ride. So we're going to go grab my wallet. and let this thing go. And this is the TCP thing, is the thing that I was talking about earlier, and it doesn't have the manufacturing license plate. All right, yeah, that's super cool. All right, so we're gonna go in and get my my wallet. All right, so I went in, showed them the email, got my wallet, we're good to go. So if you ever lose your wallet in a Robotaxi, fill out the form, go to the ride history, say lost or stolen item or lost item, give details, and they'll give you a couple locations to come pick it up at. So hopefully my mistake was your reference, and hopefully you can be informed in how you can actually hail a ride too. So super cool. It was my first time to this Palo Alto location, and Noah is awesome. He runs the service here, and so you should definitely check it out. Hopefully now you'll be informed in case you lose your wallet or any item in the Robotaxi, what to do. Thanks again. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment below what you think about this experience, and we will catch you guys all next time.